This new moon in Virgo might actually bring a little bit more organized chaos than we would expect from a typical new moon in Virgo, but there's a couple reasons why that is, and I'm going to show them to you now. So we are diving into a new moon in Virgo on the 14th of September this week. And what that's going to bring us is a couple different things. And I want to show you the screen right away to go over this. So I'm going to show you our Luna screen here. This is the actual new moon itself. So we can find that the moon and the sun are at 21 degrees and 58 minutes in Virgo. So they are together. That is a new moon. And what we see is it's at 9:14 on September. 9:14, so September 14th, but also at 9:39 p.m. Eastern time. This is the time that you'll be able to adjust to your time zone. And if you are doing intentional work with this or any magical practices, as an astrological magician, my suggestion is to wait until after. The moon will still be new for 45 degrees or even more than a day's worth of time after this exact new moon. So if you wanted to set intentions or do anything like that, you can do it later in the evening here. But once these two are actually separating, once the moon is on the other side of the sun and moving forward, that's my favorite time to be doing work, when the moon is no longer afflicted by conjunction with the sun, but does still have that new moon energy to it. If it's something you're using intention work with, it's not something in astrological magic that we work with a lot. You want to make sure the moon has like 13 degrees on either side of a conjunction with the sun, but this will be increasing work that you'll be thinking about, new intentions, new work, new things like that. Specifically with that Virgo in nature, if you're moving in alignment with the energy, thinking about organizing our lives. And I mentioned organized chaos because when I come here to the moon and I single out the moon, what we have here is the new moon, which is great. It is opposite Neptune, which makes things a little bit fuzzy, but also can really enhance our ability to imagine things. So we can imagine more clearly what it is that we would like to bring into our lives. And then here we see that it is trine to Uranus, who is also retrograde, but trine to that Uranus may bring some unconventional new ideas or inspirations for us to work with. It is trine Uranus, not square Uranus. So you'll notice my tone from last month has changed about Uranus, where this might bring easier changes. It's not going to be so as conflicting as maybe last month, where something happens that forces change. This is if I want to change, or if something's going to change, it's very easy for it to occur at this time. Another thing we notice is Mercury here. Mercury is the ruler of this lunation. And in Virgo, Mercury is domicile and exalted. However, you may have noticed Mercury's number is red. So Mercury is at the 8th degree right now. Actually, if we look at Mercury, Mercury is stationing direct. So when we come here and see the next direction change here on the 15th, which is just one day later at around 4 p.m., 4:30-ish, Mercury will be stationing direct. So what we're looking at is this is a Mercury more or less standing still and quite opposite to Saturn. They will not perfect this opposition. Mercury is about to turn around and go the other way. But if you want to consider the influence of Saturn being there, this is again a little bit more of the organized chaos that we're talking about. So thinking about Mercury standing still, this is a moment of poignant observation. And if you've been watching the Alchemist Inkwell podcast, where Em and I like to talk about all things esoteric, magical, and everything in between, one of the things that we describe this month for this new moon is that this is us getting organized to bring in new stuff. One of the analogies that I used for this is it's organized manifesting, as Em put it, but also it's preparing the space for the thing that you want to see, or for the thing that is coming for you. And so we kind of analogize it or bring up the metaphor of preparing a guest space for a visitor. If a visitor's coming and you know something about them, you might fill that space with things you know they like. You might make sure that that space has all of the resources they're going to need, shampoo, tissues, magazines. You could have their bedding in there, plants, whatever it is. Imagine the thing that you're trying to draw into your life or trying to create more of in your life, and decide, do you have everything prepared to receive it? Have you cleaned out your closet of old clothes that you don't need anymore, so there is now space in the closet for a new fresh wardrobe? Very similar situation, and it's a very practical and tangible way to be able to work with things that you are waiting to arrive, and to be able to make space for them to arrive easily, quick, and soon. So that's something to keep in mind as well. As far as other things around this day, we don't have any other perfecting transits happening around now. So we're just looking at Mercury stationing direct the day after, which is going to help even more things move forward, help us organize even better. So knowing that this is going to continue to increase, to speed up things that have been a little bit slow since Mercury went into retrograde, which we can see here was August 23rd. Around that time, if something you were working on kind of came to a halt, this may be attributed to Mercury's retrograde and may start moving forward a little bit more and pick up speed after the 15th. So that's another thing that we can look forward to that is really positive. Otherwise, again, by sign, we even have a trine from Jupiter, which adds a little bit of benefit here. So this is overall a really great practical moon to be working on your health, to be working on nourishing yourself, to be working on organizing your life and making things efficient, to be of service to yourself or perhaps to others where it feels feasible and doable, and to make sure that you have what you need as far as resources to support success. And in fact, that's sort of my recommendation is setting spiritual and health goals to honor and integrate your mind, body, and spirit connection. Because again, this is a Mercury thing. Mercury traditionally is the ruler of mental things, communication, and things like that. The moon is also, but we think about Mercury as the thinker. And Mercury also is the original diviner. So that mind, body, spirit connection is a definite thing. The moon is involved in here. So the body definitely is as well as spirit or the sun. So they come together in this as well, giving yourself the resources to have everything you need for that connection, to be able to, instead of getting frustrated with your body or frustrated with your circumstances, ask, what does this need? And then decide, can I provide that? So an affirmation for this is, I am whole and complete. I am the whole and complete expression of magic in the world, and I deserve care and nourishment. I am a whole and complete expression of magic in the world, and I deserve care and nourishment. Say that as many times as you want to. Download it as a belief if you are already good at belief work or already know how to do it. If you're not, I have a course on it on my website that can help you out as well. But in the meantime, I hope that you have a really amazing new moon that is leading us into Mercury direct and is the final new moon before we enter an eclipse season. We have one more full moon, and then the rest of the lunations through October after that one will be eclipses. So there's a lot to prepare for. There's a lot of ability to say, if I'm going to be in an unknown for a little while, how do I want to make sure I have the things that I want to feel comfortable throughout that time? Imagining that eclipses are changing things or setting a scene for the actor to work with. As the scene is setting, what are the things that you keep with you so that during that transitional phase, you are still comfortable, you are still provided for? It's another great thing to think about during this new moon in Virgo. So check where Virgo is in your chart. If you want to look ahead a little bit, look at Libra and Aries in your chart as well. That is where the eclipses are going to be occurring. So that is where the most change may be coming in the months and actually year and a half or so ahead. So this is a great time to be thinking about that, organizing, writing your lists, making your task lists, and doing the things that make you feel fulfilled, successful, and abundant. And I hope you have a really great time with that. If you want to do more studying with astrology, I do have a Patreon where we do traditional source tech book clubs, and we learn magic together. And there are different tiers that you can do in there with special videos and other things that we do special for that Patreon. But otherwise, I will see you on TikTok, Instagram, and all the other social media sites. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.